Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another video. So this is going to be the first episode of the university series on my channel, and basically it is geared towards students who will be starting university slash college in the upcoming semester or even next year. Basically it's just for students who will be starting university soon. And basically you just want to know how to go about it. So basically this is going to be the first episode, so it's going to be a mini series on my channel, basically talking about everything from applying to college, factors to consider and all that stuff. So if you're interested, go ahead and like, comment, share and subscribe, and also keep up with the series on my channel if you will be starting university in the upcoming semester or you're planning on applying and any of that stuff. So anyways, let us just get into today's video. You can go ahead down below and check out some of the other videos, which basically whether you should live on campus or off campus, live in a single room or a double room. All those links will be down below in the description. So without further ado, let's get into today's video. So in this first episode of the university series, we're going to be talking about how to choose a school for college slash university. So how do you go about choosing a university to basically pursue your tertiary education? Should you go to a community college? And especially since we are in Jamaica, well, it's mainly Jamaica based, or if you're from another Caribbean country or another country and you're planning on applying to Jamaica, then this will also go well with you. But basically it's mainly surrounding around Jamaica. But anyways, the first thing that we're going through in this episode is how to pick a school. So the first thing, or the first factor that you need to consider, is your career goals. What is it that you want out of this? What is it? So is the case where you're planning on becoming a doctor, you're planning on maybe you want to do law school, or what is the goal of all of this? Are you planning to become a nurse? What is the career goal? Because the truth is that you can't just get up and study something. So you can't just waste 2 or 4 years studying something and you're not sure where you're gonna get out of it. You have to have a little plan. You understand? You can't really plan out everything in life, but you must have at least a little guideline or an idea in your mind what you plan to do with this. So if you go to a nursing school, if you apply to nursing, it means you become a nurse. If you apply to do, for example, UE and do a bachelor's of law, it means that you're planning on doing something law related, right? Or if you go and study nutrition or you study dietetics, same thing. Whatever you're studying, you have to make sure that it aligns with your career goals. So if you're someone who so you hate the healthcare system, you hate seeing blood, you don't want to deal with blood, you don't want to touch blood, you cannot deal with it, you're just not a fan of it. It does not make sense you spend 4 years and go to nursing school and then you graduate and you say, I'm not working in no hospital because I don't like blood. You have to think these things through. So whatever school that you pick, ensure that it aligns with your career goal. Ensure that it makes sense. Ensure that when you put all of this time, effort and money into it, it makes sense when you graduate. Say, okay, I'm going to use this degree. So just take that into consideration. So the second factor to consider when you're choosing a school is the reputation of that school. So does the school have a good reputation? If you go on Google or if you go on Instagram, if you go on any social media, will people be under the comments bashing the school, say the school thief them money, so the school is not legit, things like that basically. So you have to think about, does this school have a good reputation? Because nobody wants to go to a school that don't have a good reputation, because that school having a bad reputation, it's going to give you a bad reputation. If you go there, spend your money and graduate there, you're going to have a bad reputation. People are going to say, oh, she go to that school there, and you understand, the school don't have a good name, and you go spend your money, your 2, 3, 4 years money, go to that school and graduate, and it don't mean nothing to employers because they must say, oh, that school, they're foolishness. So think about the type of reputation that the school has, and think about, will it be good if I graduate from a school like this? So when you're picking a school, that's very, very, very important. Okay, so now the next factor to consider when choosing a school for university is the location. Where do you want to be? So if you come from Portland and you say, okay, me don't want to leave Portland, I forgot to try to find a school within Portland. Or what if the program that you want is not available in that parish, for example, right? Or that part of Jamaica, for example. you have to really ask yourself, are you willing to travel? Are you willing to travel? Are you willing to leave your home? Because some people, they don't really want to leave them home. They just want to find a school nearby. Them can just go to school, go home at the end of the day. So you have to ask yourself, one, am I willing to commute? Am I willing to move to where the school is? So all of those questions you have to ask yourself. So the factor that you need to consider is the location of the school. So before you start looking at schools, ask yourself, what is the spectrum? We're only looking at Kingston, or we're only looking at Mandeville? Or you say, okay, the entire Jamaica, and whatever works the best, we work best with it. So you really have to sit down and ask yourself that question. Do I want to move? Am I okay with moving? So if, for example, you're okay with commuting, like, for example, you travel every day, or you say, okay, I'm going to rent somewhere there, or I'm going to live on campus or something. So basically, all of those things you need to think about when you're thinking about going to college. Basically, are you willing to commute, live on the campus, travel every day? You have to consider everything. So the location of the school is very, very important. So before you even start applying or anything, just have a mental mindset of what are you open to. If you're not saying in your mind, there's no way you travel to Kingston, then you can cross out Kingston completely and just try and find a local school near you. But if you're say, oh, if you're okay and say, okay, I'm open to Kingston, I'm open to all over the country, then you can say to yourself, say, okay, I'm open to everything, make apply to everything. So location is a very, very important factor that you need to take into consideration when you're planning on applying to university. Next important thing that you need to consider when you're choosing a school, or you're choosing a college, or you're choosing a university, is the tuition fees. So you need to, before you start applying, mentally have a little budget in your mind what you can afford. Because honestly, it don't make sense to apply to something if you don't have an idea. Because let's just say at the get-go, right now you don't have the money, but you must have an idea where you're going to get it from when you apply, you understand? Have a little mental idea where you're going to get it from. Because it don't make sense you apply and let's just say, for example, you pay application fee and everything and you do everything, and then you're going to say you literally have zero idea where you get the money from. So before you do that, you need to think about tuition fees and you think about, okay, if it really comes down to it, I'm going to take a student loan. If it comes down to it, yeah, I have a mother would have paid some, I have a father would have paid some, I have an auntie, a foreign. So it's like all of these things you put together and say, okay, I know say somebody will give me like a contribution, and you know. So when you're applying, think about where you get the money from. So look at things like that, you can say, okay, I have a little mental idea where I get the money from. Because it's very important. So for example, if you're planning on applying to maybe a nutrition program or something, dietetics, something like that, and you say, okay, my budget is 500,000 for the year for the school, and yeah, you can have a little mental something. And then when you're choosing the school and you go on the website, you look on the different tuition fees. You look at the different tuition fees and say, okay, at this school them I charge 400,000 for the year. This school I charge 450. This one at 600,000 for the same program. So again, it goes back to the reputation. Because let's just say a school is like a top school for that particular program, and that's why for them one more expensive. But you really have to ask yourself, say, reputation, tuition fees, all and the location, all of these things have to come together to help you to make a decision on exactly where you want to go. So it's not just one factor you consider, there's a lot of factors you have to consider. Like, does it really meet your career goals? You understand? All of those stuff are very important, and it ties into the next point. The next factor that you need to consider is accreditation. Even though let's just say we have 3 schools that offer the exact same program, and yes, the tuition fees varies, and yes, the location spread out all over the place, but which one is more accredited, or which one has a broader accreditation where you can say, okay, if I want to go foreign, this degree can go foreign. You don't want something where it's very limited, like you just know say you can only use it yes and yes, so like certain places alone will take it. You need something that is broader, something that say, okay, if I want to go to Canada tomorrow, I can take it and go to Canada tomorrow, because it's accredited right across the board. You don't want something that only have like a little bit of accreditation, like you just have a small amount. You want something that can spread right across, right? So you need something that is very much accredited for every employer, you understand? So for example, one school is accredited by the government, and then one is accredited by another organization, a smaller organization. Which one do you want to go with? The one that accredited by the government, obviously that one will go very far because it's the government. The other body that accredited here, some persons might take that and some persons don't, basically. So you have to really consider a lot of factors and ensure, as it relates to accreditation, especially in Jamaica, the University Council of Jamaica, so ensure so that they accredit the school, or if it's a community college, I think it's the UCC J or something like that, but ensure that it is accredited, whether it's a community college or a regular university, don't matter. Ensure that it is accredited. So the next thing you need to consider is the admission requirements, and maybe I should have mentioned this one earlier, but it don't matter. But basically ensure that you meet the admission requirements before you even apply. Ensure, say if the max is 5 C-Sec, you have it, because it don't make no sense you apply and waste your time and all that stuff. And if you're not sure, you can call them and ask them, say, hey, we only have 4, and is there a way for me to substitute, or is there like a preliminary, or is there a way for me to do this program while making up for the extra subject we don't have. So you have to call the school and make it be known from early. So, okay, this is what you have. You don't waste the time, do the application, pay application fee, do everything, and then them just not gonna take you because you don't even meet the admission requirements. So that's a very important point right there. Ensure so you meet the admission requirements. You go on the website and you see them say 5, them want 5 C6 subjects, and you don't have it, call them and say, is there a way we can work out something? You understand? Because nothing tried, nothing done, right? But at the same time, ensure so you meet it, because you'll be wasting your time if them say them not take you, because that's just the flat thing. But most schools have a little alternative route for people. For example, if you don't have maths or something, them can get a little like a year course, so you complete along with the program for make up for the maths you don't have. So things like that, you can call them, find out, and basically just find a way. Just seek out information if you need more information, basically. Okay, so the last thing on this list you need to consider is housing. So you can go and check out the video where I basically compare living on campus versus off campus, and basically single room versus double room. That one will also be out very soon. But basically check out the housing in the area. Is it where the school is it a decent area, right? Because some schools can be in like certain places, and you need a school where, okay, you can also, okay, if you commute, you don't want a school that's in a bad area. If it's in a bad area, you know, so you're gonna have problem for housing. So you have to ask yourself, okay, am I going to live on the campus? First and foremost, is the program online? If some of it is online, then you can stay home. But if it's going to be delivered face to face, then you need to find yourself there. So you're going to ask yourself, are you going to commute? Are you going to live on the campus? Are you going to rent off campus? Things like, do you have a family member here they can stay or something like that? So all of those things you really have to take into consideration. You have to take all of those things into consideration. If you want more details about the on-campus versus off-campus thing, you can go and check it out down below. But basically, you have to really consider the housing. Are you willing to leave your home and go to this place and, you know, probably have a roommate, live in a shared room, double room or whatever, share kitchen, share bathroom, share room, share everything? Or you probably can get a single room. Are you willing to pay extra to get a single room with only yourself in there? Or are you going to live off campus, have a family member or something off campus? So all of those things are factors that you have to take into consideration when you're thinking about choosing a school or choosing a university to go to college. All of those things are very important. So you have to take into consideration everything. So basically, this is just a summary of everything, because this is the university series, and this is the first episode, and it's basically called choosing a university, the factors that you should consider when you choose a school, basically. So you need to take into consideration the housing, the location, the tuition fees, the admission requirements. You need to take into consideration the reputation of the school, and you know, basically all of that stuff you need to take into consideration. You also need to take into consideration whether the school meets your career goals or not, because that's very important. So anyway, this is the end of today's video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. You can go ahead and check out some of the other videos down below in the description. You can also go ahead and follow me on Instagram at Toni_Ashlaay, and yeah, just go ahead and subscribe. Anyways, this is the end of today's video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and bye guys. Guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another video. So in today's video, we're basically going to be talking about how and when to apply to college / university in Jamaica. So if you're going to be starting college next year, well, technically this year since it's 2025, if you're going to be starting college this year, then this video is for you. Go ahead and like, comment, share, and subscribe. And so basically I have some points, main things that I want to mention in this video as it relates to how and when to apply for college. So first and foremost, basically applications open, especially for like UE, from October 1st. So most universities / colleges have their applications open from October of last year. October, you get the point. So basically, if you're planning to go to college next year, you need to apply as early as possible. If October, November, and December gone already, and let's just say you never did apply, you have January, February, and March. So basically, most universities in Jamaica, colleges, especially UE, UTech, NCU, they basically, most of them end their deadline for applications is March 31st, like the end of March. And then in some cases where they have like extra spots, you might have late applications being accepted up until like maybe May, right? Especially for NCU. But I think for NCU, the nursing program cuts off at like maybe February 28th, something like that, since you know nursing is a lot more in demand. But basically applications open since October, so you need to be applying right now. And applications close around March. So basically what you need to do is get all your documents and everything together, just put everything together and apply as soon as possible. So basically, as it relates to the documents that you're going to need, you need to gather your documents. You're going to need your TRN, you're going to need your transcript, you're going to need your CXC certificates or preliminary slip, whatever you have. Or if you don't sit your exams as yet, you need to still provide on the application. And by the way, there will be another video going through the NCU application and the UE application, which I will be doing, so just stay tuned for that. Basically you're going to need TRN, you know, like maiden appearance name and all that stuff, your TRN, your preliminary slip, basically your preliminary grades, I mean, for CXC. And if it's a case where you're sitting your CXC exams, you don't have any CXC exams as yet, on that application you just need to put the subject and just put the year that you're going to sit it, and basically they will know, the school will know that okay, when the grades come out in August, they will get the grades, right? And just to be safe, you can also send in the grades or update your application at that time, but you just need to ensure say you click submit. So just because you don't have your CXC, just because you don't sit your CXC as yet, does not mean that you cannot apply. If you have the CSEC or you have the CAPE, still apply. Even if you don't have the CAPE grade, if you only have Unit 1 grade, or you only have, or whatever, or if you just have your CSEC grade, still apply. Once you're planning on going to school for the fall, September, apply. And you know, of course, some universities take January applications, you know, so but we really have focused on the September, the fall applications in this video. So you just need to ensure say you apply as early as possible and you gather your documents. So TRN is typical in Jamaica, your tax registration number. So if for some reason you lost it or you don't have one, you need to look about that before you obviously start the application process to go to college. You're going to need your CXC transcript for those who already sat their CXC subjects, you know. And for almost everything in Jamaica, every document needs to be certified. So once you have uploaded, because even though you have that section on the application where actually just list them, there's going to be another section that says documents to back up everything we already say on the application. So yeah, so basically some information that you're going to need on the application, they're going to definitely ask about your CSEC grades or your CAPE grades. They're going to ask about, or maybe if you have a first degree, don't matter, them need some grades, them need to see where you stand, right? Then they might ask about financial resources, who will be paying, either choose self or you choose parents or you choose scholarship. You have to put on the application. Almost every college application, they'll just ask you who is going to be paying for these fees. And unless it's like for the medicine program or dentistry, I mean, I think them require like financial evidence, like a bank statement. They just ask who are going to pay the fees or how you plan to pay it, whether yourself, whether your parents, for the scholarship, but unless it's like MBBS for you or something like that, or dentistry or pharmacy, they don't usually require like a financial statement. They just ask you upon the application pretty much. But they may need personal information about your parents, contact. If it's like NCU, they might ask, I don't remember the U application I got, but basically they might ask about your denomination or your Christianity, or if you believe in something else, things like that. Basically just referee. So most applications might ask for referee, for like a reference, you know, like a reference person with a 1 or 2. I feel like in my memory maybe 2 for most of them. But yes, and they might ask if you're employed or not, things like that. So basically my advice is that when you're planning on going to college, do not just apply to one school. And please, if you're planning to, if you're sure that okay, it's a university, apply to UE, apply to UTech, apply to NCU. Once they have the program, all of them have the program that you want, apply to all of them. And this is not to say, oh, you're not gonna get in, but you know, just always have the backup for the backup, you understand? And maybe somewhere along the line you find out, so maybe you're gonna choose NCU, and then you find out, so maybe UTech have the better program of the same thing. I just say, well, oh, a good thing, but they apply to UTech too. You get what I mean? So just always have options. Just always have options. So at the end of the day, if you choose to go UE, you choose to go NCU, you choose to go UTech, or even maritime, depending on what you're planning on studying, you can't say, oh, me have options, can me apply to everything, and options is always the best thing. So the next thing that we need to talk about, so now after you have your documents and you say you're going to apply to these schools, you basically need to choose the program very carefully. And as my top boss said, please look into it and research which school has the better program, or which school has the better reputation of that program. Because even though all schools have the same program, you don't know if maybe the people might say, oh, you know, so that program have a bad reputation, or that faculty in that particular school have a bad reputation. So do your research on that. Do your research on that, basically. But research and pick the program very carefully, and just ensure that it aligns with your career goals. And basically just think, would you want to spend the next 2 to 4 years of your life doing that particular program? For example, you choose medicine, or you choose biology, you choose finance, or even Spanish. Do you see yourself studying that, depending on whether you're applying to do an associate degree, or a bachelor's degree, or even a whole master's degree if you already have a first degree already? Think about, does it align with your career goals? That's the main thing you need to consider. And then you also just think, do you want to do that? Ask yourself that question. Do you really want to do that? Are you passionate about it? You know what I mean? So just ensure so you really want to study that, and don't just pick it just because. You understand? So weigh your options, look on each school, look at the prices, look at the tuitions, look at the housing options, and then you make your decision. Right? So as it relates to applications, all of these schools, or most schools in Jamaica, people hardly do anything hard copy these days. Everything is online. So if you type in UE application and you're writing the year, make sure it's gonna pop up. If you're writing NCU, if you're writing UTech, if you're writing a particular program, they will show you the different schools that have that program. Point is that you have options. You have options. You literally have no excuse. But you go on their website, click programs, look for the program, read the outline for the program carefully, look at the syllabus, the basically like the coursework or the degree plan, the what's it called? Literally I forget the name right now. The handbook for the faculty or for the department. Just look at it, and then look at the tuition fees, look at the amount of years, look if they have it part-time, full-time, depending on what you are going for. So just interested them have what you need, and you know, just overall research. But you should have, but applications do open in October, and most of them close in March, and some of them go up until May. So you have time. It don't matter if you don't do your CXC them yet, you can still fill out the application, you can still submit it, and the school will know that okay, yeah, wait for CXCs. You understand? So you don't have to wait, oh, may I wait until August to get the grades, and then when you get the grades August, you run up and down to find in a school, we take your last minute because you never apply early. So you don't want to put yourself through that. So you just prepare from early. So just a recap. Just ensure, say, you apply before the deadline. And ensure you get all of the documents, them TRN, CXE, transcript, birth certificate, all of them something there them are gonna need. Ensure you have all the documents them. Ensure say when you do the applications you have the documents them. Ensure say you just basically the application might ask about high school, if you ever gone to college before, it might ask about financial resources, probably ask you about maybe your parents, contact all them something there. Probably ask for reference. If you know one or two people, you can use them as the reference for the application as well. And then they might ask if you're employed or not. Overall, just ensure so you pick your program very carefully and ensure that it aligns with your career goals. Ensure so you pick it carefully. Ensure so you look at the admission requirements. Ensure so by the time results come out, you're gonna meet the requirements. Just ensure you have all the documents them. Ensure you are aware of the fees them related to the program and everything like that. Overall, just ensure you check the websites and read everything carefully. Anyways, this is the end of today's video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Okay, so basically this is how to find scholarships at UE. So basically, so this is the UE website right now. We're on the University of the West Indies, Mona scholarships and bursaries website. So just go on Google, write in scholarships and bursaries UE, and it's supposed to pop up. Right, so anyway, so the main part that we need to go to is financial aid. So if you even log on to Office of Student Financing, there is a financial aid. Basically, it have scholarships and bursaries, have a general financial assistance, SLB, federal student aid, Lino, and all that stuff, academic enrichment fund. So you can definitely go and look at these. But for the focus of today, we will focus mainly on the scholarships and the bursaries. And maybe we can just, I'm actually curious about what this is. So let's see. Student Academic Enrichment Fund. So basically assistance for undergraduate students, enable them to attend slash participate in conferences, academic exchanges and activities which could further enrich or enhance the quality of training provided. Okay. All right. Eligibility. That's not spell right, but the requirements. All right. So this is not enough to do with money. So let's go back. That is just like an opportunity thing. So let's go back to scholarships and bursaries. So basically, when you go on this website, there you have it. So basically, right now we're in the year 2025. So what this basically this page was from last year. So this is not what we want. So basically, the scholarships them don't open until May 1st. So basically, they usually open from May 1st to June 30th. So basically, this page is from last year, and as the semester progresses and as we go closer to um May 2025, obviously they're gonna update the page. But this is for last academic year, but this is still up on our website, so we have to work with this. And basically, the information does not change. It is the same thing every year, right? All them are going to change the date and put 2025, 2026 right here. So that's all them literally going to do. And basically, it just tell you about the requirements, them, and all that stuff on here. So basically, right here. So we said that we open from May 1st to June 30th. Just to basically call it 2 months, 2 good months. And then it says in order to be considered for any award, they need at least a 3 point or GPA. And then they said that few might accept a GPA of 2.2, a minimum of 2.2. Right? So as you can see, there are many options just from reading this part. And it says that it's only, well, it's available to full-time undergraduate students. So that part is good. And yep. So basically, they're saying that you need to complete the application form, and then basically how you would submit this is that you'll have to physically print it, fill it out, get who to sign off on who to sign off what, and then you're gonna bring it and drop it off at the Office of Student Financing, basically. So let's take a look at the application form. So here it says, and basically as myself for this year, the data gonna be very much different, but it says read the instructions carefully and all that stuff, and yeah. So you submit it at the Office of Student Financing, and yeah. So you're not allowed to have multiple awards. You're gonna need a referee to sign off everything. Just sign, stamped, and submitted, and blah blah blah. So yeah, so basically counselors, JP, pastor, high school principal, and stuff like that. And they must know the applicant for a minimum of 2 years. Wow. References are valid for 6 months, and blah blah blah. So they're saying that this front page, don't include it when you apply, basically. So basically, this is just a quick rundown of how it would look. And basically, me apply before, whenever I get it, but me know how the application form look and what they usually ask for. So simple something, you just gotta write Miss, Mrs., Mr., or whatever, right? And if you're married, the title of obviously show up Mrs. Your last name, your first name, your middle name, and you can apply, I think, up to 10. Let's see, you can apply up to 10 scholarships or bursaries, not bursaries, we call it grants, yeah. So you can apply up to 10 overall, a combination of them. So we'll soon take a look at those in a minute. Then it's asking for your student ID number, your TRN, first name, middle name, last name, your title again. All of them something here just basically regular personal information that will answer on this page. So this is simple stuff, nothing too much. And just address stuff like that. That's not too much. Now this is the thing now. So this question number 36, is the first me answer this question on this application. So I feel like them recently add this one. But yeah. So so obviously them answer about the admission, the faculty and all that stuff, the hall. They ask if you apply for the exchange program. So that question never depended when they apply. So this obviously add a little bit later on. And then next information for your parents and stuff like that. Then it's all about work experience, like jobs and stuff like that. So yeah. And then the budget planner. So basically what they want to be seeing is that they want to see that you have a deficit, right? So you're not supposed to fill this out and have a surplus, right? So if you have a surplus, then it means you don't need the money, you understand? So obviously I go show say, okay, me only have 100,000 and all of my bills them come to 40,000. That is what, so that's an example of how you'd fill this out, because you cannot, so shortfall, subtract total, you understand? So there's no way you can put say, oh, you have it, see the expenses and income. So if you put the income minus the expenses, you can cover everything, then you don't need the scholarship. So at any idea when you fill this out, you have to ensure say some money left back where you actually, if you show them say you really need the money. So if you show say the income cannot pay for it, and you say okay, we're gonna need an extra $300,000 right here, then you need to put it there. So now we'll go down here. It's saying academic distinctions, state your reasons for applying, your career goals and contributions, and if you've ever received assistance before, stuff like that. There. And this is where the referee is going to sign off with maybe a JP, principal, high school principal, pastor, whatever. This is the form that they need to be signed up. And basically, they are very strict about the date that is on the application. This is why this application cannot be used for this year because this is for last year. So every year, they're going to change the date down here. So you just have to look out for the new date, but it's basically the same thing. I'm just going to show you that So you get a head start on how it basically look and what you need to do, and now you know how the form and stuff look basically. So now we'll go back on the other page. So we just look on application. We just do the application now. This is where all the awards are. So right here you can see all of the awards in, and basically faculty, depending on the faculty, you basically you will know. But some of the scholarships them actually overlap in different faculties, so don't feel like so. Oh, and then some of them are very specific to a faculty. For example, they might find something in a humanities that don't in a medical sciences or law or whatever you want to call it, and then some of them very much overlap. For example, this one you see it in here, and then you see it there, you know, basically all of them. It's in all of them, right? So some of them overlap, but basically this is one of the best places to look if you're actually trying to find the scholarships. Then one of the best places. So we can take a look down here and just give an example. I will just go through a few of them, um, just to show you how each one is there, right? Just to get an idea. So usually it like have the number of awards. That's one. So basically how frequent or how yeah basically how frequent um you can get this scholarship basically whether it's a one time something or some of them you can get them up to 3 years like back to back to back if you maintain a certain GPA or something like that. Okay. So the maximum tenure 1 year and yeah. So basically each one of them will state the maximum value. And so for example this one when it's worth 100,000, this one with 100,000 you can it's for a maximum of 10 years. So it for some of them you can get them up to 3 years, right? And then you have to basically show financial need for this one, these 3.0 GPA, and obviously those who are Advent, you know, like 70 Adventists, them all get preference basically. So those one would get preference and stuff like that. So this is just an example of how it looks. So basically what you would do is you'd go on a page and you'd pick the best 10 that basically fits you, that you basically qualify for. Because if for example them say the particular scholarship is only for a particular faculty, it don't make no sense to apply to it because you're not in that faculty. So you might completely disregard that. So this one that we see repeating in all of them, we can take a look at this one. And everybody know about this one. So this one is up to 1 year and basically they might give it 12. So 12 minus, not minus, 12 multiplied by 300,000. So basically 12 people can get this one and it's based on its academic performance and stuff like that. Yeah. So yeah. So you get to see, but basically this is how they usually look. So what you would do, you would scroll and you would find the best 10 that fits you. Now there's a difference between a regular scholarship and a grant. So usually a grant is more, what did I say? It's more of financial need. Yeah, I feel like that's the biggest difference. That's the biggest difference between like a scholarship and a grant is that the grant is more towards it's a financial need, and usually grants are smaller than scholarships because you always used to say the scholarship they were like 100,000 up or a grant probably 50,000 and below. So for example, you can get a grant like this one, or you can get like a book grant worth like maybe $10,000 or something like that. So this one is basically based more off of um financial need. So this one them not necessarily look too hard on your grades them just want help. Or would I say try you something like that here. So you have to obviously meet the requirements then because in this grant they literally mentioned nothing about GPA in here. Nothing at all, right? So it means that the focus is not just on GPA. They just want to help somebody who is I'm just know who needs it. You know what I mean? Who really need it. So it's not so much about the grades versus a scholarship. It's very GPA focus, like them actually just want to award you for your academic performance, while a grant is not really all about academic performance. So you can visually see the difference. Alright, we can look on two more, and oh, I actually like this one. Remember this one because this one actually is a lot. So them give it for this one. So for this one, so one person gets the 400,000, one get 250,000, and then two get 175,000 basically. So these are the requirements as usual, and the eligibility. So if you don't qualify, then in a sense you apply for it. If they say a certain something, you have to go with it. So now for this one, they've never specified the faculty. It literally says any faculty. So what they said, minimum 3.0 and stuff like that. So yeah, they get the point. Actually, like this one. This one always come up every year. And then you have the Gives One of Us grant. See, so basically for our grant, they will be like 50,000 and below. While the scholarships are the ones that have a huge amount. Basically, that's probably the biggest difference. And clearly on financial need, because in the grant, say nothing about GPA performance. Literally don't say anything about academic performance or anything like that. They just want to see the verifiable financial need. So that's the biggest difference. So when you're being considered for the grant, it's not all about the the academic performance, right? Because you can have like a conventional, you can have like a maybe a 3.2 GPA, and somebody else have a 3.6, and them choose to give you the grant because obviously you need it more. So it's not all about academic achievement in the situation with the grants then basically. And then we can look at this one. Okay. So basically I first messed that one here. First message this one. So yeah. But this one are 1800 US for this one. 1800 US. Yeah, but basically overall these are very straightforward, and usually some of them come with a condition. In this situation they want to do 50 hours of voluntary service in this case. So different one have different conditions. Some of them want photo of your birth testimony and different things like that. We tell you how the grant or what all the scholarship program and stuff like that. So these are basically the different options. So basically I'm just gonna show the page. Yep, so I'm just gonna show the page, and then obviously I have the popular one them the one here, and some of these are not even necessarily related to but I say UE. Some of them are more general, like for example Greece and all those other places, and even what is one be, right? So those opportunities that you can take into consideration. Yep, so you can take it into consideration and just look at everything basically. But yeah, that's just a rundown of how to find it. So you just type this in and it would lead to this page. And you click on the financial aid, and then that's basically it. And for this year, the data got changed to 2025 and 26, and then it should open on May 1st, and then close off by May 30. And this you have to physically drop it off, so you cannot submit it online. You have to physically bring it in basically. So that's just the rundown. That's just the rundown of it. That's how you would basically search for them and find them. And obviously there are other ways to find it, but this one is more easier. You literally just look on one page and boom, everything is there. So yeah. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another video. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about where you should live on the UMona campus. So basically in today's video, we'll be going through the different halls of residence at UE Mona, and basically we'll just be comparing them, the price ranges, and basically just some small general details about each hall. Basically, obviously, I've never lived on every hall, so I don't know everything. I don't know the deep nitty-gritty secrets about every hall, but I can share some of the general stuff that everybody basically know. So if you're thinking about going to UE and basically you want to know about different halls of residence at UE, just keep on watching and don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Okay, so the first hall we're going to be talking about today is the Elsa Leo Riney Hall, which is on the UMona campus, also known as Towers basically. So the colors for this hall are basically red and white, and basically what I know about this hall is that I've never lived there before, but it's a very competitive hall. They are usually kind of like trendsetters when it comes to competitions and stuff like that, especially in sports. Whenever it's sports day, whenever it's just overall, they have a lot of talent. Everybody at UE knows say Towers have a lot of talent. They usually choose the best of the best to go there, to live on there. Once you have some skills, some talent, outgoing, debating, them very competitive. So if you're competitive, that would be the best hall for you. Not saying that the other halls are not competitive. I'm not saying that the other halls are not competitive. I'm just saying that this hall in particular likes to win and win big basically. They like to just they basically like to just swoop up all the talented people into one place. But yeah, you can definitely go ahead and consider Towers. It's a good hall, very competitive. Yeah, basically they have both single and double rooms, and basically we're just going to be talking about the prices real quick. Let's see what the prices are. So basically at Towers, and this is for this academic year, so it means for the upcoming academic year these prices will probably change, so just use these prices as an estimate basically. So for a single room, it's approximately $355,630 for a single room for this academic year. Depending on when you're watching this video, the prices might go up. You know, this is just like an approximate for the 2024 to 2025 academic year. Yeah. Then the double room will go for about $292,560. And basically, if you want to compare single room versus double room, there will be a link down below in the description talking about single versus double room, so just stay tuned for that. Yeah, so basically that is Towers. So the next hall on this list is the Mary Seacole Hall. So basically I've lived at Seacole before. It's an all-girls hall. Their primary colors are black and white, all girls, no males. They have both single and double rooms. Basically this is something that I should have mentioned, but at Towers, basically the reason why it's called Towers is basically because it has five. The dorms are literally 5 tall towers. Basically that's why it's called Towers. So back to Seacole now. So basically with Seacole, they have 5 blocks. So basically they have 5 blocks, also kind of competitive as well. They are competitive. Let me discuss everything. Everybody competitive, just not to offend anybody, but basically everybody competitive on the campus. But yeah, me talk about the people that always win Towers. But yeah, back to Seacole. So at Seacole, they have 5 blocks, all girls hall. They really stand for women, empowering women, all that stuff. So if you're all about, if you're a feminist, or if you just like to see women win and you like to see women being encouraged, then that hall is for you. And basically when I was living there were some rumors, or basically things that like basically saying that a lot of Christian girls choose to live there. I don't know how true or not that is, but basically yeah, but I don't know how true that is, yes or no, that a lot of Christian girls live there or not, but basically it is one of the cheaper halls, but I don't know. I cannot comment about how true or not, but that's the reputation that it has on the street somewhat. But you get the point. But basically, good haul as well. Really supports women, empowers women, and all that stuff. Now let's talk about the prices. So, basically, it's about, for a single room, it's about $292,560 for a single room at the Mary Sequel Hall. And there's something that I forgot to mention about Sequel, is that it is a sorority, the only designated sorority on the Umona campus, just to note that as well. So if you're all for women power, then that will definitely be the hall for you. The price for a double room now is $252,015, and this is for this academic year. Again, depending on when you're watching this video, these prices might change, so just please keep that in mind. But yeah, it is a sorority, and they are very much heavy on hall culture. So is Towers. Towers is very heavy on hall culture. I forgot to mention that for Towers, but yeah, you get the point. So that's basically the Mary Sequel Hall. So the next hall on this list is Chancellor Hall. So basically, Chancellor Hall is an all-male hall at UE. Basically, it is a fraternity. So basically, they only have single rooms on Chancellor Hall. Well, you know how Jamaican men are, but you get the point. But basically, they only have single rooms, and it's like a communal bathroom. From what I've heard, I've never seen how the bathroom look or anything, but that's what I heard. It's kind of similar to a sequel with a communal bathroom, but you get the point. General, usually just one big kitchen or whatever that they share, whatever, depending on the blocks and all that stuff. As we said before, you see how the kitchen or bathroom right now that look, but you get the point basically. Yeah, so yeah, and just also to note about Sequel. So basically with Sequel, there would be like the kitchen, there would be a kitchen and a bathroom at each intersection. So for example, the blocks are like this, there would be a kitchen and a bathroom at each intersection at Sequel. But yeah, but basically that's Chancellor Hall, all single rooms, shared kitchen, shared bathroom, all males hall. It's a fraternity, so it is the fraternity at, well, it is one of those designated fraternities at UE, because I've heard about fraternity at Taylor Hall or something like that. I think Taylor Hall have a fraternity too, but basically it is the only hall that is a designated fraternity like that, the entire hall. So it's all male again. So you get the point, and let's talk about the prices. So the prices at Chancellor for a single room, it will be $292,560. And basically block X, which is basically a block over there that basically it's kind of like a flat. So it's a flat with a like a living room, kitchen, and then the rooms there. So it's kind of like a little house, a flat basically. You get the point. So it would be a little bit more expensive. It's $348,210 basically. So yeah, and they are very big on hall culture at Chancellor House. So they are all about the history and everything like that. So if you feel like that's for you, then definitely go ahead and choose Chancellor Hall. For the next hall on this list is Rex Rutherford Hall. And basically it is a co-ed hall, meaning that both males and females live there. They have about 800 rooms on that particular hall. The rooms are small, yes. Basically the rooms are small, and they only have single rooms at Rex Rutherford Hall. So the price for a room there is about $355,630. Yes, the rooms are small. So the next hall on this list is Taylor Hall, and basically Taylor Hall is one of the older halls as well. It basically has a lot of hall culture. They have a lot of hall culture. It's co-ed, both single and double rooms there. I'm not sure if them have flats or not. I'm actually not sure about that, but yeah. So basically for the single room, it's $292,560. For the double room at Taylor Hall, it's $252.15. And I mentioned before that me think Taylor Hall have a fraternity within it, like for the male section or something like that. Don't know the details. If you know somebody from Taylor Hall, or if you are from Taylor Hall, go ahead and comment it down below so people can know about Taylor Hall basically. So the next room on this list is the Ashton Preston Hall. So basically Preston Hall now, it usually has a good reputation as well. They mainly wear, I think, purple and white is their color. Basically they also have big rooms at Preston. It's co-ed as well. Basically they have big rooms. Their rooms usually come with a sink. They are also one of those older halls. It is operated like by UA, like all the other halls mentioned so far on this list. So Preston, they have hall culture as well. It's co-ed. It's also a very good option that you can consider. If you know anything about this hall, anything else you want to add, you go ahead and comment it down below in the comment section. So the cost for a double room at Preston is going to be $292,560. A single room is for $328,600 at Ashton Preston Hall. So the next hall on this list is going to be the ABC Hall, and basically this hall now, I don't think it's available anymore for students to live on. I think they keep it for the nurses at the UA hospital or something like that. I've heard a lot of stories about the ABC Hall, but you get the point. You basically get the point about ABC Hall. I don't know much about it, but the price for a single room there is basically $292,500, or at least I think it's a single room anyway. And let's talk about the Marlene Hamilton Hall, and basically this hall is specifically for graduate students, so you have to be a graduate student technically to live there basically, but basically it's specifically laid out for graduate students. If you're a graduate student, then definitely this would be the hall for you. Not saying that if you're a graduate student you can't live at certain other halls, but this one is specifically designated for graduate students. So for a studio is basically $60,500 per month, and for the other one it's $67,500 per month. The next section on this, basically these halls of residence that we'll be getting to. So basically all those that I've mentioned so far were operated by the UMona campus, but these three that I'll be mentioning right now are actually operated by 138 Student Living. So these are operated independently of the UMona campus, right? They are on the campus, but they are operated by a different body. So let me just share them quickly. So you have the Georgia Lane Hall, Irving Hall, and also Leslie Robinson Hall. So let's hear the prices. So Irving Hall, which is one of the older halls that they basically renovated and fixed up and, you know, do all nice now. Basically they have both single and double rooms. The hall is basically nice. You can tell it's a bit more modern. So basically these three halls are basically updated versions. They're a bit more modern than the other UMona halls basically. So Irving, a double room at Irving would be $39,500. A single room at Irving would be $67,800. Now let's get to Leslie Robinson Hall, and basically Leslie Robinson only has single rooms. At Leslie Robinson Hall, it's basically $74,000 per month, and they have their own bathroom in the room basically. And I think it's the same thing for the Georgia Lane Hall. They have the bathroom in the room as well. And then the last one that we're mentioning is the Georgia Lane Hall. So Georgia Lane Hall basically has both single and double rooms. The single room is for $42,900 per month, and then the single room is for $74,000 per month at Georgia Lane Hall. So basically you can hear the prices and compare them basically. But basically this is the end of today's video, in which I basically spoke about different halls of residence on the UMona campus. And go ahead and like, comment, share, and subscribe, and go ahead and check out some of the other videos in the university series. Or if you have any questions or comments, go ahead and comment them down below. This is the end of today's video, and bye guys. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another video. So this is going to be episode 3 of the university series. So basically, if you're planning on going to university / college anytime soon, then basically this series is for you. Just continue watching this video, because this episode will be talking about waiting. In the first episode, we spoke about choosing a school. The second episode, we spoke about when and how to apply. And in this episode, we're going to be talking about what you should do while you're waiting on acceptance from the school, or you're waiting for an offer letter from the school. So if you're interested, go ahead and like, comment, share, and subscribe, and go ahead and watch out the other videos from this series, and go ahead and check out the links down below. Okay, so the first thing that you need to do while you're waiting on the school to get back to you is, and this is a very, very important point, is gathering the financial resources. So for example, when you went on that website, or when you contact them and them tell you how much the program costs, they literally tell you straight up, say, okay, that will cost $500,000. You have to decide, say, okay. And then the first episode we talk about, say, okay, you must have an idea where the money come from. Now, while you're waiting, especially if you know, say, okay, you had all the admission requirements, you put in a good application, because usually when you put in an application, you know whether your application is good or not. You know whether you meet the requirements or no. So from you meet the requirements and you're very optimistic, you need to be and once you're serious about doing this program, you need to be seeking the financial resources while you're waiting. So if it means that, okay, you're gonna use student loan, and go to the student loan bureau, call them, do something, just basically find out all the details. So if them accept you, you have the money back, you just go through the process a lot more smoother. If you know, say the student loan, go start the application before, you understand, things like that. So basically, just go get information. So for example, if it's a loan, go get information about the loan. If it's an auntie where they are foreign, call them and say, hey, you know, I'm applied to the school, and they probably reach out to me anytime soon, no, or me I wait for them to reach out to me. But just want to make sure, so you're willing to still contribute how much them they said about contribute. So in the meantime, while you're waiting on that acceptance, seek the financial resources. If it's going to be if you're going to be seeking like sponsorship from Greece or NCB or any of those places, write the letters and put them down. So by the time you get the acceptance letter, you have it ready to send out to everybody. Don't wait until you get the acceptance letter, then you panic and I say, oh God, I never got student loan bureau, I don't know the details, I don't know how to go about it, I never know, say, oh, I did need this and never. So get the documents together if it's a loan you're going to take. If it's somebody they are foreign, tell them about the program from early so them know about it. Tell them, so, okay, $500,000 for it. Just so them have an idea. You cannot just go last minute on people and say, oh, we get a program, we want the money now, you need the money by next week. And you get what I mean? So things like that, you have to be put it into place from beforehand, right? So for example, you said the loan, you get the documents together, you find out the details, how to go about it in case I get accepted. You have the auntie foreign, you call them and say, hey, you know, say, me apply and me wait and all of that stuff. Or if you're going to be seeking sponsorship, write the letters them and put them down. And as you get the acceptance, you change and add in which school I get accepted to. I just get it ready for send them off to everybody for sponsorship you seek. Search down the place for all scholarships. So for example, so basically, while you wait for the acceptance, search down the place with all of the scholarships available. And as you get the acceptance, you just send them out. You just send out or you just submit the application at the same time before you get accepted. So do not wait until last minute, then you run up and down and I say, oh God, I get accepted and no, me never write the letter them and me not have enough time, I need the money by next 2 weeks. And just, you know, be proactive in this situation. So that's the number one thing you should be doing while you're waiting on your acceptance letter, or on your acceptance letter basically is basically seeking the financial resources. So as you get the acceptance letter, you can boom boom bam and everything start out quick and fast. Don't wait until last minute. So the next thing that you need to do while you're waiting on the acceptance letter is basically finishing up whatever exams you are doing now. So for example, if you're doing CXC and you put your application to, okay, I am pursuing 8 CXC, right? And you already put in application, because usually you submit the application a lot earlier, like from between applications for the fall semester usually open from October the year before. So October, November, December, January, February, March, and most of them close off by March. Some go to May, but yeah, big NCU go to May. But basically you apply a lot earlier. So you put in that application, say, I am applying for this program, and I am going to sit 8 CXC subjects in a May, June, we come right now, for example. During the waiting on that acceptance, so they need a grade. So just focus on finishing off those exams that you're doing. Because listen to me, you will literally flap yourself in and you fail them. You flap yourself beginning of the show, big time. So finish on, even though you might be excited and say, oh my god, college, but finish off these exams because you need them for admissions. So if you do the maths and the English and whatever else, focus on them. Ensure say you're putting the SBA them. Ensure say SBA grade them good. Ensure say you're going to the exam prepared for the paper 1 and the paper 2. If you need any videos relating to the CXC, you can go ahead and check out the CXC playlist down below. But basically, you get the point. Finish off whatever exam you're doing right now. So they get the acceptance, then just get your grade same time, and everything can run smoothly after that going forward. So the next thing that you should be doing while you're waiting on acceptance is checking your email frequently. If you get accepted, more than likely, if it's any other big school, then more than likely the email is where that acceptance letter is going to be coming to. So ensure say your email not full. If you know see your email full and not eat up on the application, start clean out that email. You better go down and sit down and start clean out that email so that you can receive emails. So you can receive the acceptance letter. And also very important too, sometimes for whatever the reason, important documents do go to spam sometimes, or please check your spam and also check your trash, because you see a man will delete it by accident, or if you have somebody else share the email and them in the email too and they might delete it by accident and not realize. Check trash, check spam, and ensure say when the school send the email, you just be proactive and you just see it quick and fast, or you turn on the email notifications. So you come up on your phone, or you come up on your laptop, or you come up on your iPad, whatever you use, we come up on it. So ensure say your email free up. Don't make it be a case of the email full and no email can come to it. When I'm trying to send the acceptance to you, the email are bounce, the email not no space. Clean out the email. Check your inbox frequently, check your spam frequently, just in case it goes there. So that is how you can be very proactive while you're waiting on acceptance. So if you have any questions while you're waiting on your application, the best thing for you to do is to email the school. Email the school and also call the school, because I tell you, remember when I start UE, I tell you, I call on UE, I buy credit to my week. I buy credit and I call on UE. They put me on hold, then send me them, then basically transfer the call to another department. I buy credit in my week. If you call up a UE, I may also send email a lot to admissions. So if you have any questions on the application, like for example, your situation, something in your situation change, you put on the application, you can reach out to them via email and let them know. So ray. And also the next thing too, when you're waiting on your acceptance, basically, if it's been a while where you submit the application for a while and you know you have the admission requirements right at this moment, for example, you have your CXC, you have your CXC results already, and you have your degree already, or whatever, in case you apply for your master's or something, and you have it already, and you say, but wait, I have everything at this moment, and let's just say 3 months pass and you're not hearing nothing, and let's just say school that will start soon, or basically, if you realize that, okay, I have all the results them and no response, you can also email them or call them. Basically, follow up on your application. Don't just leave your application. Don't just submit and leave it. And very important, while you're waiting, check the application form and check to ensure that you did submit all the required documents. Don't let it be a case where them can't accept it because and everything did it. Them ask for your birth certificate, you never put it. Them ask for your TRN, you never get them. So it's like they want to scan certified stuff, and if it's a case where they don't have everything, they might not be able to process you. Or some schools will reach out to you and say, hey, blah blah blah, we need your TRN, or we need this, or blah blah blah. Some schools will be nice enough to send an email and say them need those documents to process you. Some schools know this have left it and they probably just deny you or say them cannot do it, or it depends on the school that you're applying to. But basically, follow up on your application. If it's been a while and you don't hear nothing, follow up on your application. Don't just let it go. Don't just let it go and make it breeze. And you understand? And also, you should be applying to more than one school. You should be applying to more than one university or more than one college in case. But if your mind change, what if, for example, one day Kingston, one day Mandeville, and you say, let's just say they really want to go to Kingston one, and then all of a sudden you say, but wait, Mandeville would work out look better for me. And then it's a good thing you apply to both of them, because now you can just decide to go Mandeville instead of Kingston. So apply to one of my schools. Check your email frequently. Ensure your email free. Ensure that check your spam, check your trash, because you see someone will delete it by accident. Just basically check for any updates in your email. As I said before, for example, you're lacking a particular document, they will email you and say, hey, we need this from you, or we need that from you. So just keep your email clear so you can basically receive that basically. And as I said before, just ensure that you're seeking the financial resources them in order to pay the school fee. Ensure that you are checking your emails very frequently, checking the spam, checking the trash, checking everything. Ensure you have finished all of the exam them what you have to do. So just ensure that you're finishing off all your exams. Ensure that you email and also call them if you have any questions about your application. Don't just sit down and make anxiety kill you. Call them if you really need clarity about something. Visit the school also if you want to, right? But do not just leave up application just like that. Be very proactive and be very intentional about your application when you're applying. But anyways, this is the end of episode 3 of the university series. So basically, go ahead and check out the other videos down below. Go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and follow me on Instagram at Toni_Ashlaay. And I will see you guys in the next episode. Guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another video. So in today's video, this is going to be another episode of the university series. And basically, in today's video, we'll be talking about packing. So if you're interested, go ahead and like, comment, share, and subscribe. And let's get into today's video. So basically, I'll be providing you guys with some tips on how to pack when you're going to college/university. And basically just some things that you need to keep in mind when you're basically packing up to go to university. So the first thing, and I think that this one is a big misconceptions, like this is a big misconception about university or college, especially places like UTech, like the bigger universities in Jamaica. You think that most students think that when you pay the tuition fees, when you pay the dorm fees, it includes food. No, it does not include food. So literally, you will have to find your own food to eat. So this is just something that I want to put out there from like the get-go, that listen, even though you're paying dorm fees, there is no meal plan. There is no breakfast, lunch, dinner, or breakfast and dinner that you get from the dorm. So your food is on you, basically. So the dorm doesn't give you food. They don't. You don't pay for food. So just take that into consideration going into all this, that okay, listen, you'll have to you have to bring your own food. So basically, when you're packing, that should be at the top of the list. Like the top of the list, buy food that you can eat, whether it be tin food, you know, rice, your own oil, seasoning, bread, egg, plantain, anything like that. Anything basically that will serve you maybe 2 weeks. Bring your own groceries. Bring your own groceries when you're going to college, because your dorm fee money does not include food. So we just want to put that out there. If anybody would think, say, okay, it include food, it don't include no food. So we just want to put that out there, right? So the second tip when you're packing, when you're going to live on dorm or live at university, is basically bring your own appliances. And this would basically mean small things like, for example, a blender, for example, a kettle, small things like that. If it's on campus, most dorms do not allow hot plate, and you'll get yourself in a problem if you bring hot plate. And as it relates to rice cooker, most dorms don't necessarily want you to have a rice cooker, but some people do. You understand? So rice cooker might be okay, but a whole hot plate in your dorm room, you'll probably get yourself in a problem. But basically, bring your own like a kettle, just plug in, keep it in your room, full up your water, do your tea, or your ramens, your noodles, whatever you drink, do that in your room. And depending on the dorm, if it's on campus or off campus, you know, bring your own like kettle, blender, anything, rice cooker, basically. If it's allowed, bring it, why not? But listen to me, once you'll be living in a shared space for college, but I just want to put this out there, it's not gonna be easy living with other people. And for example, it's going to be hard sharing, because you know, if you're there, you can just go in the kitchen and do what you do and get out. When you're in a shared space, you realize there are going to be times when you want to use the kitchen and somebody else also wants to use the kitchen the same time as you, and then it's like inconvenience. You understand what I mean? So when you're living on campus, and this is specifically for on-campus people, you'll realize that some people just not bother going in the kitchen at all, because it can be a lot when you have to share the space and too much people in the kitchen. And me personally, this is one reason why I'm not saying that me is the best chef, but oh god man, like for example, if I'm yard, but I go in the kitchen a lot more. When I'm on campus or on dorm, but try to avoid the kitchen as much as possible, because let's be honest, nobody likes to be cooking, or nobody likes to have them food and have people that walk over them food. I mean, very funny. Me is a very funny person. Me see I walk to because my food, me literally go dash it when I eat it. Me is that type of person. So me very funny. So as I said before, just bear in mind that you might be inconvenienced a lot when you're sharing with other people, whether you're living on campus or even if you live off campus. And sometimes you gotta just avoid the kitchen altogether. So whatever little kettle and whatever you can bring for your room that is allowed, go ahead. And some dorms allow you to bring your own little mini fridge. Bring your little mini fridge, why not? I understand, bring your own mini fridge. Okay, so the next thing on this list is for you to pack appropriate clothes and shoes for school. Yes, you're gonna live whether it's off campus, on campus, it doesn't matter, but as long as you're at university, please bring appropriate clothes. So for example, you know, say okay, your program requires uniform, ensure you bring a uniform. Like that should be common sense to pack your uniform in your bag, you understand? If for example your program does not need a uniform, dress appropriately, you understand? Like bear in mind that okay, it's a school. Yes, you can dress however you want, but bear in mind that it's still a school setting. It don't mean say if you dress like you got a club, or if you dress like you got a bar. At the same time, bring things like jeans skirt, jeans pants, appropriate shoes. If you do labs, you know you're gonna need like a closed toe shoes and stuff like that. So just bring the right things basically, you know. And if you're doing any kind of biology or anything in medicine or dental, whatever, and you know you need a lab coat, things like that, you should be packed. That should be in your bag from a long time. Pack that up a long time and put it in. You get what I mean? So yeah, but basically ensure you pack those stuff. Don't want it to be a situation where you don't have the main things them. Just ensure you bring things that are appropriate to wear to class, because it don't make any sense you try to class and it's pay a little spaghetti strap or pay a little dress wear that wear a party and you know no clothes wear a class. That don't make no sense at all. And this brings me to the next point. When you're packing clothes specifically now to bring with you, also bear in mind that since it is college and sometimes they do keep events and like brunch, and sometimes they get invited out to different things, so just ensure you have a one and a two or two good dress where you can actually wear go somewhere, because especially if you're a new student, sometimes you get invited to like dinners and stuff like that, like formal stuff, and they might keep it on the dorm itself, but you still have to dress up. Or let's just say you join a club and maybe you have to represent the club or something like that. Ensure you have something formal in your closet, like maybe a dress or something, if like as in something formal enough that you would wear to dinner, like a dress and heels, things like that. So don't just go there and a pair of slippers you have and a pair of jeans and something. Have something. If you get invited out to the dinner or whatever, have something for where you got it dinner. Have a one heels in your closet if when you go move, when you go on campus or when you go to college. This is specifically enough for those who are going to be living on campus too. If you're living on the campus or you're going to be living off campus near to the school, as long as you're not going to live in your yard, ensure you have a one pair of heels. At this point, have one pair of everything. A one pair of heels, a one dress that you can go to dinner. And maybe say in a more formal sense, because sometimes you do have to dress up when certain things keep and you can't go there in your jeans, and you understand? So the next thing that you should bring when you're packing is cleaning supplies. One, the room is going to be very dirty when you go there. They're going to be dirty. Yes, them supposed to clean it and whatnot, you know, but guess what? Let's just say, for example, them clean the room from July, you know, moving till August. So guess what? Cobwebs still have to collect in there. You still have to go there, go clean. So just ensure you have your little bleach, your little fabuloso, Just ensure you have a mop bucket, things like that, cleaning supplies, because they don't provide, especially if you're living on campus, they don't provide that. You understand? So you have to bring that to yourself. So when you pack up for go to college, take that into consideration. That listen, I need my cleaning supplies them, and yeah, basically for wipe down your room, clean down your room and all that stuff when you're going to move in. And also just also to maintain the room throughout the semester. Like after you wipe it, for example, late August, and you might wipe it maybe the next 2 weeks from that, you might wipe it and stuff like that. So just ensure you have your own cleaning supplies. Also ensure you have your own dishwashing soap and stuff like that. And as we talk about dishwashing soap, let's talk about kitchen utensils. Bring your own kitchen utensils. They are not provided. So ensure you have your own plate. Ensure you have your own cover dish them to store things in the fridge. Ensure you have your own water bottle, anything like that. Ensure you have it, because those things are not included in the dorm money for those who are living on campus. You have to bring your own utensils, your own fork, your own spoon, your own plate, your own cup. All of those stuff supposed to come with you from your yard. So don't pack up and have a plate or a spoon or anything like that, because that would be a big mistake. I'm just making know that from now. So ensure you pack up. You pack up and you include the utensils, kitchen utensils, spoon, fork, all those stuff, a knife, things like that, because they are not provided. So you need to bring them with you. So the next thing that you should bring when you're packing for college is your own bed sheets and your own pillows, things like that. Ensure you bring your own pillow. And if you know you have somebody with one pillow, can't just bring 2 pillows with you. You have to come with your own bed sheet. You don't get a bed sheet. As I said, the room are probably dirty, cobweb will collect in there. Even though the cleaning people them clean the room, but guess what? From the time them clean it until you go in there, it's still going to be a while. So you still have to go clean it again probably. Not even probably, you have to go clean it. You have to go wipe down in there, cobweb down in there when you're moving there basically. So you go back to the cleaning supplies, but basically bring your own bed sheets, bring your own pillows. The next thing that I want to mention now is you need to bring a fan. Unless you are going to be living, unless when you got accepted, this is for people who are living on campus now. Unless when you got accepted, they said, oh, we have AC. Don't think that they have AC. Maybe things that made are going to AC, but there is no AC. So basically, you need to bring a fan. This is Jamaica. This is the Caribbean, and the place hot. Unless you're going to be living on one of 138 student living dorm that have AC. Other than that, unless you're going to live at Leslie, at UE, or one of those places that have AC, unless otherwise stated that them have AC, bring a fan, because you're gonna need that fan. Don't make the mistake and pack up when you go to college and you don't even have a fan. You're gonna burn up in that room. I tell you that. So ensure say you bring a fan if you go down your place. If you want a curtain, bring a curtain. And this leads to the next point about decoration. So you need to decorate the room. If you're somebody who actually cares about decorating, bring stuff to decorate the room. Me personally have never intentionally said, oh, I'm gonna decorate no dorm room, because it's just not me for waste money, time and effort to decorate no dorm room. But just live in there and bam bam, but just live in there and I go to class and come back basically. But for those who actually care and actually want to decorate their dorm room, that's absolutely fine. Use your Shein, order from Shein or whatever, bring your decorations and decorate your room. If you like LED lights and stuff like that, order them. And then you go in there, you just put your little LED lights and all that stuff and decorate the room if you want. But basically, yeah. So if you want to decorate, bring your own stuff to decorate the room, as long as it's okay with the dorm and it's nothing illegal. Like them say, do not bring and you bring. Just follow the rules, yeah. So bring whatever. For example, you know them could leave something here. Some people order them off a Shein or whatever, but you can decorate the room. So definitely bring decorations. If you actually want to decorate your dorm room, you can definitely do that when you're going to be packing up to go to college basically. So the last thing that I want to mention in this video is to bring a robe / a big towel. Now this is basically most dorms on campus, the bathroom is not in the room. Some dorms do have the bathroom in the room, but for the most part 90% of us are going to end up in our room on a dorm that you have to leave the room to go to the bathroom. Just bring a big towel or a robe when you're packing to go to college basically. It just makes sense, because imagine at one point me used to literally bring my clothes and really just go there that, you know. when I live on campus for the very first time, and basically made it the year. And the thing about it is that you used to have this like big bath, and when I put my clothes in there, but basically the towel I did have initially never did necessarily big. So it's like with a dry off in the shower, and the shower narrow, so you can see how awkward that can be, because you done bed, in the tight enclosed space. I try to dry off, put on back my clothes to come out, and then I say to myself, so how about this? Why am I not just get a big towel? And oh yeah, no, me know the reason why I'm used to that as well is because we have a roommate. So because whenever I made it in a room at the time, that's why I did kind of lean more towards that. But you see, when she's not there, sometimes we literally just go bed, I use a big towel and come out, because I feel like when you dry off with space around you dry off better, and you get to put in your clothes more comfortably versus in the shower where it just whatever. But you get the point. But once you're living in a single room, make sure you bring your robe and your towel, your big towel, and so in your bed you can come in and get dressed in your room. Basically, you're not in the shower, and you know, it just you can go your room and get dressed. Why not? But cause guess what, the shower them not really necessarily big, so you don't want to in the shower. And understandable, yeah, that's just my story with me in the shower and whatever. But you get the point. But basically, this is the end of this episode of the university series, which is basically what to pack for college. So do remember everything I've mentioned, from the decorations, the cleaning supplies, your kettle, your blender if you want to use a blender, the big robe or the towel, what else, food, very important, something you have to bring a food, your utensils, all that stuff. Do remember everything that I said and don't leave it. And basically, this is the end of today's video. Go ahead and check out some of the other episodes in the university series. And yeah, basically this series is just geared towards students who will be starting college/university anytime soon. So anyways, just keep on watching and just stay tuned for the next episode of the university series. All right, bye guys. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another videos. If you're new to this channel, go ahead and like, comment, share, and subscribe. So in today's video, we're going to be going through another episode of the university series. So if you haven't been following this series, you can go ahead and check it down below in the description. But basically today we are at the point where we're going to be talking about getting the acceptance letter, getting that offer letter from the school. So what you should be doing at this point, basically. So that's what this video is all about. So go ahead and like, comment, share, and subscribe, and let's get into it. So if you've already applied, if you've already waited, now we're at the point where you literally have gotten that email saying that you've been offered a spot, right? So the very first thing you need to do when you've been offered a spot by a university or a college, the first thing you need to do is to read that offer letter. Read it very, very carefully. Make sure it's your name on it. Ensure you read what program you've been accepted for. Ensure that you look at the start date so that there are no misconceptions. So once you've read through it and it says that they've offered you a place to study for it, also look at the duration, because for example they might say, congratulations Tony, you've been offered a place to study biology for 3-4 years or whatever, any amount of time that they put on it, yes, at whatever campus. So, you know, just read it very carefully. Read the degree, read the duration, and ensure that it's your name on it. And so that's the first thing. Very much read that degree offer letter. And also you need to take into consideration, usually an offer letter is they will require that you put like a down payment to hold your spot. So for example, we talked about this already, so you had to apply to more than one school. So let's just say 3 schools send you the offer letter all at once, and you have to really decide which one you're going to take. So you can either accept, deny, or defer. Let's just say something go wrong and you really cannot do the program this year, but you want to defer it to the next academic year, then you can do that. or if they can defer to the next semester, you do that until the next semester. But you need to accept, you need to deny, or you need to defer the acceptance to study in that program basically. So that's very, very important decision that you need to make. So read it very carefully. And if you've read it carefully, and usually the school will put like, okay, you need to make a down payment of, for example, $20,000 to hold your spot kind of thing. So if you're reading and you say, okay, no problem, you have the down payment for hold my spot and whatever, you just click accepted. Some of them require you to log back on to the portal that you apply and click accept. And yeah, usually you just need to accept the offer letter basically. Now, once you've accepted it and you pay like a down payment, the down payment that they stated that, okay, yeah, you need to pay this down payment in order to hold your spot, pay attention to when school is going to be starting, and also basically pay attention to when the tuition fees are due. So you know, say, okay, the tuition fees are going to be due soon, and then school are going to start also by a certain time. So after you've gotten that acceptance and you realize, okay, the tuition fees are due, for example, maybe late August or something like that, if it's for the fall semester, then what you're going to be needing to do at that point is to get the funds together. So before in the other episode, we talked about when you're applying, you need to take financial resources into consideration. Now, when you've been given that acceptance now, so and you pay that down payment of maybe $20,000 or something for all the spot, you know that you're gonna have to get your funds together to pay the tuition fees by the deadline. So whether it's student loan, whether you're going to be using SLB, whether it's that anti-foreign, whether it's seeking sponsorship from different businesses or scholarships, whatever the case may be, that you're seeking basically assistance to pay your tuition fee, family member, just a loan, or maybe a private loan agency, no matter wherever you plan to get the money from, you just have to take into consideration, say, okay, the deadline is then, and if them say, okay, we need $20,000, then you have to go see how you're gonna grab up that $20,000 to pay and basically be able to start the program basically. So after you've managed to pay for your tuition fees, or you get the funds together and say, all right, tuition fees out of the way now, what you need to be considering now is whether you're going to be living, if it's out of parish from where you live, you need to be considering are you going to be living on campus on the dorms, or you're living off campus, or you rent off campus, what are you going to do? So that's what you need to consider next. There's a video which is going to be linked down below, which is going to be comparing on campus versus off campus. You can go ahead and check out that down below. But basically, you need to decide where you get housing from. Basically, you need to decide where you're going to be getting housing from, whether you're going to be applying to the halls of residents that are on the campus, or are you going to be finding somewhere to rent. So for example, usually on the application website, you can apply for housing there, or if not on that same application website, they will direct you as to where you can get housing. Basically, the admissions are going to direct you to that, because it's usually there on the application portal for most places, or if not, Google it and click on campus housing and at the particular campus, at a particular school, and just go on that website and apply, right? Now, if it's a case where you say, no, on campus too expensive, me not live on campus, you want to live off campus, if you know somebody, we rent near to the school, you can find out. You can also check online, you can Google it and do all of them something there and see if you can Google it and stuff, and see if you can find any advertisements, social media, Instagram, Facebook, and see if nobody are rent. And usually, and also this is very important, check the school, because usually the schools, each school usually have like a housing section, or they will have a list of approved renters. That's a word, not that the word, but basically there's an approved list, because I've seen this list in groups of off-campus housing with the telephone number, the rent, and basically all that details that the school sometimes work with these people and say, okay, them approve them so students can go live there. So you can also check your school if they have an like approved off-campus list or something like that. So the next thing now, after you find the housing, is to definitely make the deposit, the down payment, and whether you stay on the campus, you have to go clear the entire semester fee or get a payment plan. Or if you're gonna live off campus, you can definitely contact the person and pay the first month's rent and all that stuff. In a future video, we're going to be talking about packing and all that stuff, and even more. We're going to even go into more details about how to find housing in another episode, but that's for another episode. But you need to clear off those fees for the housing, for the tuition fees, and you have the offer letter and you see accept it already, then you're good. This is the part where we're talking about getting accepted. The next step now, after so you're good with housing and you're good with the tuition fees, all is well, you need to be thinking about your school supplies. So as I said before, we talk about packing a little later on, but your school supplies such as your books, pens and pencil, depending on what you're studying, you might need a lab coat. You might need clothes to shoes. You might even need a uniform based on what you're going to be studying. So things like that, you have to, be snappy with it. And if it's a nursing or something like that, you have to have your uniform made. You have to have your uniform made if it's nursing or something like that. So you have to be really snappy with this thing, you understand? So you have to get your books and school supplies, lab coat, uniform, anything you're going to be need. You have to get things in order for you. You don't want Monday morning come and school start and you don't have everything you need. Because let me tell you something, the difference between university or college and high school is that in some cases in a high school, the first week usually somewhat like a bit laid back. In a university, they literally have a timetable and every week is accounted for in that semester timetable or whatever you want to call it. So when the Monday come, don't think say, oh, we're going to goof off because the first day. Listen to me, sometimes some lecturers make it just, take it easy the first week, some of them. But don't be shocked if you're going to the class on the Monday and them are run the class like crazy on the Monday. Don't be shocked, because let me tell you, with me first start university, I think it was with chemistry, I start the chemistry and I say, oh God man, at the first week and me have so much work. Like, we did actually did it and I did so confused. My first week of school, I'm really sit down in the room and I said, but wait, how did I get here? How did I really get here? I'm literally lost in the first week with the amount of work. And it's only been a week. The first week of school, as a matter of fact. So don't be shocked if you go to school, the lecturers just start boop with the work, and the work just dip on you under pressure. Don't be shocked. So just get yourself together during the summer, during the Christmas break, depending on when you're starting school. Get your housing together, because you don't want school to start Monday and rush and you say, oh God, I'm not find out if you live. Or if you know it's too far, if you know it's going to take you 5 hours for left from your yard to get to the school, no bother with it. That commute don't make no sense. So do what you need to do very early so you can get a spot on campus, or you're gonna live or you're gonna rent off campus, but you need to put something together. You don't want school start. And college say you take you 3 hours to reach at school every day. And you say, oh God man, this is not working out at all. You did have in your mind so maybe commute, but listen, when I don't do the 3 hours that travel every day, 3 hours go back home, and you say, no man, I really cannot do this. Then you really say, oh God, I should have just rent somewhere or find that place. But just put things in place and put measures in place, so when you start school, the focus can be on school. Or if it's a case where you have planned for work a job while you go to school, depending on your schedule, don't take the job until you see a timetable. Do not take a job and say I'm a part-time job. Your part-time job have to go work on the class because the lecturers them not care if I work you're gone or wherever, them I run them class regardless. So just know that. So take all of those things into consideration. But basically this episode is all about what to do next after getting accepted into college, into university. Stay tuned for the next episode where I'll be going more in depth about housing. And yeah, basically that's it. But go ahead and check out some of the links down below, and this is the end of today's video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Bye guys. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another video. Welcome back to another episode of the university series. And basically this series on my channel is meant to help students who will be starting university in the upcoming semester, or depending on when you're watching this video, basically just to help students overall, new students specifically, with different things from packing, finding housing, applying, all that stuff, getting accepted. So anyways, just go ahead and keep on watching. And don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. So in today's video, in this episode, we're talking about how to find housing. So this is for our university students who will be starting college soon. So the first way you can find housing is by applying on the school's website. So usually on the website there will be a section that says accommodations or something like that, and it will be able to tell you to basically give you the list of the halls of residence or dorms that they have. And some might have all girls dorm, all boys dorm, and co-ed depending on the school. So the first place that I will send you to find housing is on the school's website, and this is specifically if you're looking for on-campus housing. Right now, some schools do have like a little off-campus list on their website, so you can also check that too, like approved persons that the school partners with, or basically that the school know about sometimes. But for the most part, if you're looking for on-campus housing, your best bet is to search on the school's website, check housing, the housing section, accommodations, halls of residence, and you should find on-campus housing, and you should be able to see the different options that they have on their website. So another area that you can check if you're looking for housing for college is by simply Googling. Like, Google the area and see places for rent near here or whatever. So you can also do that too, and maybe even the same accommodations, on-campus accommodations, will pop up for the school. Just ensure so you put in very specific and say probably student housing near, for example, UE, near UTech, near NCU, anything like that, and hopefully it pops up. Now be very careful, because spams and those things and fake advertisements are out there. So be very careful when you go past certain websites and you see certain housing being offered. Be very careful, be very vigilant to make sure that these people are legit, that are offering basically the place to rent, and don't get scammed. Don't send nobody no money until you see the place. Make sure you go in person and see it and all that stuff. Do not just take your money, go send go with people. See you put on first month rent for you start college and the people them steep then thief you. Don't make that happen to you. So be very vigilant when you're searching online. Specifically if you search on Google and outside pop up and say, oh, them are rent near you, and just press pan and see the address and you say, oh, and then the person says, send me the money, send the money. Like, yeah, do not fall into scams and fraud, and be very vigilant. Please just be very vigilant when you search online. Well, another way now you can also find housing is by asking around. So maybe your mother knows somebody, we know somebody, we know somebody, we know somebody from town, we know somebody we rent somewhere near the school, or basically someone who always rents to students. So if you know a family member, your auntie or a cousin or somebody, your mother knows somebody, your mother friend somebody, and them know somebody that rent in a Kingston, or maybe that person renting a Kingston, them not rent to students, or them not near to the school, but them know somebody will rent to students near the school, you understand? So ask around. That's one of the number one ways they can find legit housing, especially off-campus housing. Ask around, ask your mother can sue, and them go ask who, and so it pass on word of mouth. And usually if you do that, you're more likely to get a legit housing like suggestion, you get what I mean? Because at least people know the person, and then because they know the person, they might recommend it to you and say, yeah, you can give them a number, and give you the number, you can call them and say, hey, you're into students this year or anything like that. So definitely ask around when you're looking for off-campus housing. Start in your circle, and if you don't know nobody, then that is when you really start searching outside. Right? So you already check the halls of residence or the accommodations on the school website, you Google, you ask around. So the next way now you can find housing is by joining the school group, and usually there will be like some little links to join WhatsApp group that rent places. Because currently, alright, when we first got UE, me think it's like my faculty group or something, and there's a group that's called Places for Rent or something like that. and it basically places for rent the first group and it did full, and then take them make a second group. But basically they send jobs, applications, anything, housing, all that stuff gets sent in there a lot. So you can try and get yourself into a WhatsApp group that usually posts new housing that are for rent, specifically for students. Because in that same group I've seen a whole list of people who are renting, their phone numbers, single or double room, the address and all that stuff. So try and get yourself into a WhatsApp group. The best way to get yourself into that WhatsApp group is by joining the big faculty group, or joining, let's say, joining the faculty group, freshers group, join a group like that. Probably freshers group would even have the places for rent or something like that in there. So in the area that are renting to students, so join a group, join a course group, or freshers group, or if you're new to the school, just join a group like that to try and get housing. And when you join the group, if you get assigned like a mentor or something like that, if you get assigned a mentor when you apply to the school, ask them and say, hey, you know anywhere where we can get for rent off campus? So ask around, ask them and see if, if them know somebody, or if them can get into contact, or, so you can basically get somewhere to live. So the next way to find housing is probably to check Instagram. Now, this might be on and off, but Instagram has a lot of stuff. Because me always say programs like educational programs, like for better men, all kind of stuff. Instagram is basically very broad. So make sure Instagram, you might book up on somebody advertise by Instagram. So you can also look out for that on Instagram, or you can find probably an Instagram page that usually posts student housing for students in a particular area, like Kingston near to UU Tech, or maybe NCU. So definitely check Instagram. Now, another way that you can find housing is by checking the billboard. So for example, let's just say you got UU or UTech, and let's just say you're going to Kingston for something, or you're going with somebody, and look around for see. And usually whenever nobody are rent, them usually have a little billboard sign and say for rent, and maybe the arrow point, and then one phone number there. Or if you pass one yard and you see it and you say, wait, this is the near to your school. So look on the billboards, and look on the signs them, and read and say, okay, them are renters, or them are renters, or anywhere like that. So if you go to school and you see some little housing nearby Ronnie, and you pass it, you can just literally look and see if any sign is there for rent or anything like that. So you can even look out for that. Again, I just want to mention that usually the school itself, for example, UE has many housing options. I'm sure UTech also have many different housing options available. So it's not just like only one dorm. You have several dorms to choose from. So you can definitely check the school first. And if you don't get on this dorm, you try to get on the other dorm. You just don't give up. So try this, try to apply to different dorms then on the school website. You can look on the website and see them. They have different options, whether it's single room, double room, maybe 3 people in one room, 4 people in one room, depending on the school, how the dorm is something set up, how the bathroom stay. Hopefully some information will be on their website. If not, you call them, or you visit them and ask them how it stays and stuff like that. And also check with the school, just in case the school might have an approved list of like renters that rent to students near the campus. Just in case, just check, right? Or if you go to the school, go to faculty, student housing and development or something like that, and you can go and check if they have any housing. Usually the student housing office usually have something with the off-campus approved places them that students can live. So your best bet is also to check there, and hopefully you get through. So also go and check that. So let's do a quick recap. You can definitely check the school's website first if you're looking for on-campus housing. You can check the school's website also if you're looking for off-campus housing. Visit the office of student housing or something like that. And even if you're not planning on getting somewhere on the campus, they might be able to help you to get somewhere off campus. So do take that into consideration. You can also Google it. You can also look when you're traveling around the area, look at if you see any billboards or any signs or anything like that that are advertising the job. You can also ask around and see if your mother knows somebody, your father knows somebody, your uncle knows somebody, your auntie knows somebody. If they are renting at the area, you'll be able to find somewhere. So ask around. You can try to join the WhatsApp group as I said before, because I mean our WhatsApp group something about places for rent or something like that. You can also try and join a WhatsApp group. You can also check Instagram, different social media platforms. If you see the advertise, you can also go ahead and check it out and see if it works for you. But your best bet, and where I'm gonna tell you to start, is to ask around in your circle. And also if you're looking for off-campus housing, and the next bet, the Office of Student Housing for on-campus, and even both on-campus and off-campus, because they might be able to guide you in the direction of where to find off-campus near the school. On the campus, you apply to the housing, different dorms depending on your school, and just hopefully one of them take you. But basically, this is another episode of the university series, and I hope this video was helpful. Go ahead and like, comment, share, and subscribe, and go ahead and check out some of the links down below. Bye guys. Guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another video. So this is another episode of the university series, and basically this episode is going to be talking about what you should know before living on campus. So just stay tuned and like, comment, share, and subscribe. Okay, so the first thing on our list today is basically just keep in mind and basically just realize that this is the first thing that you should know before going to live on campus. The first thing that you should know is basically come to the realization that it will be basically you alone on that campus. Just come to that realization first thing, that okay, me going to college, me going to live on campus, being say I'm me alone, I got there in that dorm room. In most cases, honestly, I have a roommate. But basically, get the point. And some people going to college will be the very first time that they leave their probably their home parish. And basically, in some cases, some people actually don't leave them parish until they go to college and whatever. And in fact, in my situation, it was my first time living alone when I went to college. When we go live in a dorm, but you get the point. So it was my first time living alone when I first moved for college, basically in a Kingston. So basically just come to the realization that it will be you alone, so you really have to, you know, take care of yourself when you go there. The next thing that you should know when you're going to live on campus is basically realizing that you actually have to feed yourself. So when you're on campus, you're responsible for all your meals. You understand? So if you don't get up and cook breakfast, there is no breakfast. If you don't get up and cook lunch, there is no lunch. If you don't get up and cook dinner, there is no dinner. And especially in my family, before I started college, basically in my family, me never do the cooking. Let's just me, I be very honest. Me never do the cooking. So most times either my mother would have cook or my brother would have cook, but somebody else would have cook other than me. And when especially when in high school, I go home and food always did it. And it's like, I know me not have to worry about it, and I don't have to cook nothing. And when you move to college, when you move on campus, and you're like, wait, so I have to get up and make my own breakfast, and it's like 7 days a week, 30 days a month, you have to do this for yourself. So it's not like before where I say, oh, some days I make my own breakfast, some days my mother might do breakfast for everybody, or some days somebody else cook dinner. It's like you're responsible for everything. You have to get up and go make the breakfast. You have, when you come from class and I make that day, do your lunch, and then, for example, you eat a lunch and go back to class, and you come back again in the evening, you have to do your own dinner. So you realize, okay, and let's just be honest, most college students don't cook 3 times a day. Let's be honest. They probably just touch the stove once a day. Some people don't touch the stove at all. Some people only touch the stove like once a week. Me is one of those once a week persons that touches stove once a week. More than that, is too much for me. And especially if it's a shared living space, then you know it can be difficult when you have probably 6, 7, 8 people that use the one stove, and it's like when you finally have time to do it, the stove I use, you don't have no space to do anything by the stove, so you just not cook nothing. So we can get the point. But basically, when you move to live on campus for college, you have to realize, say, you have to go feed yourself. You have to go feed yourself. And as we talk about feed yourself, the next point is you'll have to realize you have to budget yourself. And this part is very important. When me did start college, and you see, when you're at home, you eat and you eat and you eat and you eat. When you're there at college and when you're on campus by yourself, you start to realize, okay, when your family members send that one money come give you, and you realize that me have to get groceries out of this, and sometimes you probably want budget. So, like for example, during the week, so for example, it's Saturday, and your family members send the money, and them send the money, and you go buy some groceries. So you have to be very wise with how you use that money. When you buy the groceries, and then at the same time, you don't want done the money on groceries on the Saturday and the new week not started. So it's like you have to buy a small amount of stuff, and then during the week, what you have to go do is you probably say to yourself, say, I want to put aside $2,000 so I can probably buy food in a week or whatever. You understand? Because nobody don't want mackerel, and nobody don't want their own cooking 7 days a week. Let's just be honest. Nobody don't want their own food every day. So you probably budget and say, alright, $2,000 for fast food this week, and the rest make buy groceries and just, do ramens or whatever with it. So when you're going to live on campus, be very careful with your budget, your money. Come here, tell you, say, like, me in one position where and this happened only once, but it's from it happened one time, it can never happen again to me. But basically, it's like the money just disappear, just evaporate, and guess what? Me did spend the money, but me just in a bad situation. I spend the money badly, and then me realize, oh, me did broke on campus, and I don't know, but that is just my own story. But don't make that reach you. Me I tell you, the one time that happened to me, I say it can never happen again. Never can happen again. So guess what? If you're not sure the next money you come from as yet, just not yam nothing. Whatever you have left, sit down pan it. Sit down pan the last bit of money we have until you get some more money. Because basically, what will happen is that a particular person is supposed to send me the money that weekend, and then somehow them just not send me the money that weekend. But it's like me plan around the fact that they must send me that money that weekend. So now me left with probably this last dollar in my name, and I say, oh God, man. And me said to myself, so them really not send me the money. But me did have food, so it's not like me that dead, but you get the point. That was just a bad budgeting mistake for me, basically. But don't make that happen to you on campus. Nobody not look for you. Don't make yourself go down to $0. It don't look good. Me never go down to $0, but oh God, me did feel like it. But basically, me never did have enough to do what me didn't want to do. And so, me have to shut my mouth, sit down, and probably, probably don't want to buy food or whatever. Me never have no money to buy the food. So I just sit down and say, alright, the person that sent me the money, but if I have, me have to sit down on it. Because me I tell you, knowing say probably you don't to probably a last money, it don't feel good. But anyways, as I said before, the person is supposed to send me the money. But basically, when you're on campus, budget wisely and don't make yourself go broke on campus. Because especially where me live originally, it's probably a good distance from Kingston. So, me I say to myself, look how far away there. You understand? So it's like, don't whatever. But anyways, that was just my little story there about budgeting. Don't go broke on campus. That's the next thing that you should know before moving on campus. You don't pretty at all. The next thing that you should know before moving on campus or going to live on campus is that you have to wash for yourself. So basically, as you realize in this video, most of this video will be surrounded or basically focused on what you have to do by yourself when you go on campus. Now, some people, when them there them yard, them have somebody wash for them, the mother wash for them or whatever. So you get the baby in when you're there at home. When you move on campus, if you don't wash your clothes, them are not clothes to wear. It's as simple as that. So you have to either wash it with your hand. And so every Saturday morning, I wake up 5:30 and I start wash. I ain't going to forget the line space because at the end of the day, it's a dorm. It is a dorm, so other people want to use it too. So it's basically first come, first serve. Or you're going to say, okay, every Friday night, I'm go wash. Basically, using the laundry room, using the machine, and just pay the money and wash once a week. So you have to decide where you're going to basically. And then the next thing, too, that you should know before moving on campus is that you have to be responsible for yourself when you're sick. So for example, you're there on campus, and let me tell you, being sick on campus is not nice because when you're sick, it's like you want a baby. You want somebody to baby you when you're sick. And when you're there on campus and nobody is not there to baby you, it just why. So when you're sick, you have to take responsibility for yourself and say, okay, can yourself go to a health center, go make them write letters so you can, so the lecturer know. Or for example, this is where students who do like labs or basically compulsory lab work or anything in the medical field, anything like any coursework that is compulsory, and basically you're gonna miss it because you're sick. Go to the health center, make them write the letter or whatever, and you can present it to the lecturer when you feel better or whatever. But basically, you're responsible for yourself when you're sick. And when you're sick, several times since being on campus, me get sick, and every time it's like me just sleep. Me just lie down in the bed and sleep, and until me get better. And it's not a nice feeling, to be honest, but you have to be responsible for yourself. So if you're sick, you have to care yourself, go to the health center. And for example, that bad and probably what's wrong with you. You probably just have to go to the pharmacy, go buy something at the pharmacy, or you go off campus, go buy something. But basically, you really have to be responsible for yourself when you're on campus, all alone, no family member, no anything. So the next thing that you should know before moving on campus is that you have to be responsible for getting your schoolwork done. So if you're somebody when you leave the home, your mother would have there behind and say, okay, make sure you get the assignments them done. And when you go to college, when you live on campus, there is nobody behind you. Nobody not physically there with you to push you and say, well, get the work done by the deadline. So guess what? This is where you have to really be responsible, because there's nobody behind you. You literally did here with your time. You can decide to waste your time if you want to. You can probably choose to waste your time. But there's nobody behind you who says, do the work, do the work, do the work. If you not do the work, that is honestly your business. That's honestly your business if you don't decide to do the work. But there's nobody behind you to push you and run. As a matter of fact, let me just tell you this: the lecturers them not run behind if you don't work. Them get the deadline. If you want to do it, you do it. If you don't want to do it, that's your business. That. So you just have to really be responsible when you go on campus and use your time wisely. This leads to the next point: time management. Be very careful on campus with your time. Be very, very, very careful, because I tell you, a lot of things keep on campus. For example, health fairs and different stuff. Sometimes the parties keep at night. Be very careful you to get time and use it. Don't let it be a case where you waste. For example, you have an assignment due tomorrow and you got a party tonight, and you know it due 9 o'clock in the morning. You got to decide you got a party because that's more important tonight. And then you got to come in from the party at 3 a.m. and just go start the people them work. You understand what I mean? Or maybe you come in 3 a.m., fall asleep, and you wake up back probably 7 o'clock and just start the people them work. You understand what I mean? Don't be careless. So you have to have time management and always put the schoolwork first when you're on campus. So that's another thing that you should know before going to live on campus. So basically, the next thing that you should know when you're going to live on campus is that more than likely you will be living in a shared space. And I'm not just talking about the room. Shared space as in most students and probably get them one room, right? But shared kitchen and shared bathroom, that may talk about. You probably have to end up sharing the bathroom with somebody or somebody's, and more than likely you're gonna end up sharing the kitchen with multiple people, right? So basically, you just have to keep that in mind. Say, okay, if we go share, I know my bathroom, it's not just my bathroom, if we go share with these people. And guess what? So as it relates to bathroom, not everybody grew up the way you did grow up, and not everybody clean the way you clean. So you might go in there, for example, 5 people to 1 toilet or maybe something like that, and it's like when you're going to the bathroom, up here yak in the bathroom, and sometimes honestly, sometimes you're gonna be very disgusted. But let me just say this: don't let it get to you. Just go there. Whenever you use the bathroom, you do the right thing. Whoever want to leave the mess in there, if there's a mess in this, use the other one. You understand? Go in the other stall. If the other stall they have something to go in the other stall again. But basically, don't keep up with people and them nastiness. That's how I just want to put out there. So if you go there and it's a shared bathroom and the bathroom doesn't stay good, just lock your room door and call it a day. You understand what I mean? Don't make it get to you too much, basically. As it relates to shared kitchen, just plan out how you're gonna make it work with other people when you go there. If you realize, say, 5 people to the 1 stove, and you realize, say, anytime you want, the only time that you're free for use the kitchen, somebody else always in there. Maybe you can just get up earlier to use it, or probably use it late in the night or something like that. But you just have to go work out a schedule that works So the next thing that you should take into consideration when you're going to live on campus is that you're going to be in close proximity to other people. So basically, if you live on a flat, you're going to have flatmates, and it means that more than likely, because you live on campus, you will have to socialize a lot more with other people. So now, if you're somebody who does not necessarily like the socializing thing, you're not gonna like this at all. So you go wake up in the morning and people are probably in their bathroom. When you're going in the bathroom, you put them up in the kitchen or you put them up in the hall. But basically, living on campus, your chances of socializing are very high. You have to socialize with them almost every day. So you wake up, it's like, I'm telling you, it's very hard to live on campus and avoid people, especially the people that may live within the same flat or maybe the same block or tower or whatever, depending on how your dorm set up. It's very hard to avoid people, so you have to go talk to people regardless. So just keep that in mind, that you might have to do a lot more socializing than you're technically used to, because I mean, when I first went on campus where I was living, it's like we go there and me have to talk to people, because yeah, me in them face and them in my face already. So it's like you see them, at least say hi or something. I mean, just say hi or whatever and move along with the day basically. But just keep in mind that you'll have to socialize a lot more, because it's a small space. Everybody knows everybody in our hall basically. Everybody see each other before, and that's just the truth when you live on campus. Last thing that I want to mention in this video that you should know before going to live on campus is that basically most halls do observe quiet time. Usually quiet time is around 10 or 11 p.m. or even somehow might have it to 12 p.m. But I think between 10 and 11 p.m. Quiet time would start. But basically, once quiet time start, there should be no loud noise or anything like that. And let me just tell you this. Even though the quiet time is between 10 and 11 p.m. or whatever, depending on the dorm, there are going to be some unruly people that do not observe that. So when 11 o'clock and even 12 o'clock and 1 p.m. come, not 1 p.m., 1 a.m. come, and in your room I study or something, I say, but why at 1 a.m. so much noise upon the hall? Somebody I break the rules clearly, and they might do a chat, or they might do something, or they might have them friends, and sometimes that does happen. It's not supposed to happen, but sometimes it does happen. And sometimes, all I can say, don't let anything that happen on the hall get to you to that point. Like, if it really affects your studying and getting your schoolwork done, then yes, report it. But other than that, ignore people. Just ignore people and them foolishness. If someone is doing something that's just not constructive and you know if you do it, then make them stay. Leave them, let them do them, and you just ignore that and leave it alone. But yeah, basically, just do you. Don't let the bathroom get to you or any other issue. Just go there, do your schoolwork, and get what you need to get done basically. So yeah. Anyways, this is another episode of the university series. These are some things that you should know before going to live on campus. This is the end of today's video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and go ahead and check out some of the other episodes of the university series down below. Bye guys. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another video. So this is another episode of the university series, and basically this episode is going to be talking about what you should know before living on campus. So just stay tuned and like, comment, share, and subscribe. Okay, so the first thing on our list today is basically just keep in mind and basically just realize that this is the first thing that you should know before going to live on campus. The first thing that you should know is basically come to the realization that it will be basically you alone on that campus. Just come to that realization first thing, that okay, me going to college, me going to live on campus means say I'm me alone. I got there in that dorm room in most cases, unless you have a roommate. But basically get the point. And some people going to college will be the very first time that they leave their probably their home parish. And basically in some cases, some people actually don't leave them parish until they go to college and whatever. And in fact, in my situation, it was my first time living alone when I went to college. Basically when we go live in a dorm, but you get the point. So it was my first time living alone when I first moved for college, basically in a Kingston. So basically just come to the realization that it will be you alone, so you really have to, you know, take care of yourself when you go there. The next thing that you should know when you're going to live on campus is basically realizing that you actually have to feed yourself. So when you're on campus, you're responsible for all your meals, you understand? So if you don't get up and cook breakfast, there is no breakfast. If you don't get up and cook lunch, there is no lunch. If you don't get up and cook dinner, there is no dinner. And especially in my family, before I started college, basically, in my family, me never do the cooking. Let's just, me, I'll be very honest, me never do the cooking. So most times, either my mother would have cook or my brother would have cook, but somebody else would have cook other than me. And especially when in high school, I go home and food always did it. And it's like, I know me not have to worry about it, and I don't have to cook nothing. And when you move to college, when you move on campus, and you're like, wait, so I have to get up and make my own breakfast, and it's like 7 days a week, 30 days a month, you have to do this for yourself. So it's not like before where I say, oh, some days I make my own breakfast, some days my mother might do breakfast for everybody, or some days somebody else cook dinner. It's like you're responsible for everything. You have to get up and go make the breakfast. When you come from class and I make that day, do your lunch, and then, for example, you eat a lunch and go back to class, and you come back again in the evening, you have to do your own dinner. So you realize that, okay, and let's just be honest, most college students don't cook 3 times a day. Let's be honest. They probably just touch the stove once a day. Some people don't touch the stove at all. Some people only touch the stove like once a week. Me is one of those once a week persons that touches stove once a week. More than that, that is too much for me. And especially if it's a shared living space, then you know it can be difficult when you have probably 6, 7, 8 people that use the one stove, and it's like when you finally have time to do it, the stove I use, you don't have no space to do anything by the stove, so you just not cook nothing. So we can get the point, but basically when you move to live on campus for college, you have to realize, say, you have to go feed yourself. You have to go feed yourself. And as we talk about feed yourself, the next point is you'll have to realize that you have to budget yourself. And this part is very important. When me did start college, and you see, when you're there at home, you eat and you eat and you eat and you eat. When you're there at college and when you're on campus by yourself, you start to realize, okay, when your family members send that one money come give you, and you realize that me have to get groceries out of this, and sometimes you probably want budget. So, like for example, during the week, so for example, it's Saturday, and your family members send the money, and them send the money, and you go buy some groceries. So you have to be very wise with how you use that money. When you buy the groceries, and then at the same time, you don't want done the money on groceries on the Saturday and the new week not started. So it's like you have to buy a small amount of stuff, and then during the week, what you have to go do is you probably say to yourself, say, I want to put aside $2,000 so I can probably buy food in a week or whatever, you understand? Because nobody don't want mackerel, and nobody don't want their own cooking 7 days a week. Let's just be honest. Nobody don't want their own food every day. So you probably budget and say, alright, $2,000 for fast food this week, and the rest make buy groceries and just, you know, do ramens or whatever with it. So when you're going to live on campus, be very careful how you budget your money. Come here, tell you, say, like, me in one position where and this happened only once, but it's from it happened one time, it can never happen again to me. But basically, it's like the money just disappear, just evaporate, and guess what? Me did spend the money, but me just in a bad situation because I spend the money badly, and then me realize, oh, me did broke on campus, and I don't know, but that is just my own story. But don't make that reach you. Me I tell you, the one time that happened to me, I say it can never happen again. Never can happen again. So guess what? If you're not sure the next money you come from as yet, just not yam nothing. Whatever you have left, sit down pan it. Sit down pan the last bit of money we have until you get some more money. Because basically, what will happen is that a particular person is supposed to send me the money that weekend, and then somehow them just not send me the money that weekend. But it's like me plan around the fact that they must send me that money that weekend. So now me left with probably this last dollar in my name, and me say, oh God, man. And me said to myself, so them really not send me the money. But me did have food, so it's not like me that dead, but you get the point. That was just a bad budgeting mistake from me, basically. But don't make that happen to you on campus. Nobody now look for you. Don't make yourself go down to $0. It don't look good. Me never go down to $0, but oh God, me did feel like it. Like me did feel like it. But basically, me never did have enough to do what me didn't want to do. And so me have to shut my mouth, sit down, and probably, you know, me probably don't want to buy food or what. Me never have no money to buy the food. So me just sit down and say, alright, the person that send me the money, whatever me have, me have to go to sit down upon it. Cause me I tell you, knowing say probably I don't, probably I lost money, you know, it don't feel good. But anyways, as I said before, the person is supposed to send me the money. But basically, when you're on campus, budget wisely and don't make yourself go broke on campus. Cause especially where me live originally, it's probably a good distance from Kingston. So, you know, me I say to myself to go far with it. You understand? So it's like, don't whatever. No whatever. But anyways, that was just my little story there about budgeting. Don't go broke on campus. That's the next thing that you should know before moving on campus. You don't pretty at all. The next thing that you should know before moving on campus or going to live on campus is that you have to wash for yourself. So basically, as you realize in this video, most of this video will be surrounded or basically focused on what you have to do by yourself when you go on campus. Now some people, when them there them yard, them have somebody wash for them, the mother wash for them or whatever. So you get the baby in when you're there at home. When you move on campus, if you don't wash your clothes, them not clothes to wear. It's as simple as that. So you have to easily wash it with your hand. And so every Saturday morning, I wake up 5:30 and I start wash. I ain't going to forget the line space because at the end of the day, it's a dorm. It is a dorm, so other people want to use it too. So it's basically first come, first serve. Or you're going to say, okay, every Friday night, I'm going to wash. Basically, using the laundry room, using the machine, and just pay the money and wash once a week. So you have to decide where you're going to basically. And then the next thing, too, that you should know before moving on campus is that you have to be responsible for yourself when you're sick. So for example, you're there on campus and let me tell you, being sick on campus is not nice because when you're sick, it's like you want the baby. You want somebody to baby you when you're sick. And when you're there on campus and nobody is not there to baby you, it does why. So when you're sick, you have to take responsibility for yourself and say, okay, carry yourself to a health center, go make the right letters so you can, so the lecturer know. Or for example, this is for students who do like labs or basically compulsory lab work or anything in the medical field, anything like any coursework that is compulsory and basically you're gonna miss it because you're sick, go to the health center, but them write the letter or whatever, and you can present it to the lecturer when you feel better or whatever. But basically, you're responsible for yourself when you're sick. And when you're sick, several times since being on campus, I get sick, and every time it's like me just sleep. I just lie down in the bed and sleep, and you know, until I get better. And it's not a nice feeling, to be honest, but you have to be responsible for yourself. So if you're sick, you have to care yourself, go to the health center. And for example, you know that bad and probably you know what's wrong with you. You probably just have to go to the pharmacy, go buy something at the pharmacy, or you go off campus, go buy something. But basically, you really have to be responsible for yourself when you're on campus, all alone, no family member, no anything. So the next thing that you should know before moving on campus is that you have to be responsible for getting your schoolwork done. So if you're somebody when you leave the home, your mother would have there behind and say, okay, make sure you get the assignments them done. And you know, when you go to college, when you live on campus, there is nobody behind you. Nobody not physically there with you to push you and say, well, get the work done by the deadline. So guess what? This is where you have to really be responsible because there's nobody behind you. You're literally there with your time. You can decide to waste your time if you want to. You can probably choose to waste your time. But there's nobody behind you who says, do the work. If you not do the work, that is honestly your business. That's honestly your business if you don't decide to do the work. But there's nobody behind you to push you and you know, run. As a matter of fact, let me just tell you this. The lecturers, them not run behind if you don't work. Them get the deadline. If you want to do it, you do it. If you don't want to do it, that's your business that. So you just have to really be responsible when you go on campus and use your time wisely. This leads to the next point, time management. Be very careful on campus with your time. Be very, very, very careful because me I tell you, a lot of things keep on campus, you know, for example, health fairs and different stuff. Sometimes the parties skip at night. Be very careful here to get time and use it. Don't let it be a case where you waste For example, you have an assignment due tomorrow and you got a party tonight and you know it due 9 o'clock in the morning. You're going to decide to you got a party because that's more important tonight. And then you're going to come in from the party at 3 a.m. and just going to start the people at work. You understand what I mean? Or maybe you come in 3 a.m., fall asleep, and you wake up back probably 7 o'clock and just start the people at work. You understand what I mean? Don't be careless. So you have to have time management and always put the schoolwork first when you're on campus. So that's another thing that you should know before going to live on campus. So basically, a next thing that you should know when you're going to live on campus is that more than likely you'll be living in a shared space. And I'm not just talking about the room. Shared space as in most students can probably get them one room, right? But shared kitchen and shared bathroom, that may talk about. You probably have to end up sharing the bathroom with somebody or somebody's. And more than likely you're going to end up sharing the kitchen with multiple people, right? So basically, you just have to keep that in mind. Say, okay, if I go share, I know my bathroom, it's not just my bathroom, if I go share with these people. And guess what? So as it relates to the bathroom, not everybody grew up the way you did grow up. And not everybody clean the way you clean. So you might go in there, for example, 5 people to 1 toilet or maybe something like that. And it's like when you're going to the bathroom, appear yak in the bathroom. And sometimes, honestly, sometimes you're going to be very disgusted. But let me just say this, don't let it get to you. Just go there. Whenever you use the bathroom, you do the right thing. Whoever want to leave the mess in there, if there's a mess in this, use the other one. You understand? Go in the other stall. If the other stall they have something to, go in the other stall again. But basically, don't keep up with people and them nastiness. That's how I just want to put out there. So if you go there and it's a shared bathroom and the bathroom doesn't stay good, just lock your room door and call it a day. You understand what I mean? Don't make it get to you too much, basically. As it relates to shared kitchen, just plan out how you're gonna make it work with other people when you go there. If you realize say 5 people to the 1 stove and you realize say anytime you want, the only time that you're free for use the kitchen, somebody else always in there, maybe you can just get up earlier to use it or probably use it late in the night or something like that. But you just have to go work out a schedule that works. So the next thing that you should take into consideration when you're going to live on campus is that you're going to be in close proximity to other people. So basically, if you live on a flat, you're going to have flatmates, and it means that more than likely, because you live on campus, you will have to socialize a lot more with other people. So now, if you're somebody who does not necessarily like the socializing thing, you're not gonna like this at all. So you go wake up in the morning and people are probably in their bathroom. When you're going in the bathroom, you put them up in the kitchen or you put them up in the hall. But basically, living on campus, your chances of socializing are very high. You have got to socialize with them almost every day. So you wake up, it's like, I'm telling you, it's very hard to live on campus and avoid people, especially people that may live within the same flat or maybe the same block or tower or whatever, depending on how your dorm set up. It's very hard to avoid people, so you have to go talk to people regardless. So just keep that in mind that you might have to do a lot more socializing than you're technically used to, because I mean, when I first went on campus where I was living, it's like we go there and we have to talk to people, because me and them face and them in my face already. So it's like you see them at least say hi or something. You know what I mean? Just say hi or whatever and move along with the day basically. But just keep in mind that you'll have to socialize a lot more, because it's a small space. Everybody knows everybody in our hall basically. Everybody see each other before, and that's just the truth when you live on campus. Last thing that I want to mention in this video that you should know before going to live on campus is that basically most halls do observe quiet time. Usually quiet time is around 10 or 11 p.m. or even somehow I might have it to 12 p.m. But I think between 10 and 11 p.m. Quiet time would start. But basically, once quiet time start, there should be no loud noise or anything like that. And let me just say like this. Even though the quiet time is between 10 and 11 p.m. or whatever, depending on the dorm, there are going to be some unruly people that do not observe that. So when 11 o'clock and even 12 o'clock and 1 p.m. come, not 1 p.m., 1 a.m. come, and you're in a room and study or something, and you say, but why at 1 a.m. so much noise up in the hall? Somebody break the rules clearly, and they might do a chat, or they might do something, or they might have them friends, and sometimes that does happen. it's not supposed to happen, but sometimes it does happen. And sometimes all I can say, don't let anything that happen on the hall get to you to that point. Like, if it really affect your studying and getting your schoolwork done, then yes, report it. But other than that, ignore people. Just ignore people and them foolishness. If someone is doing something that's just not constructive and you know, if you do it, then make them stay. Leave them, let them do them, and you just ignore that and leave it alone. But yeah, basically, just do you. Don't let the bathroom get to you or any other issue. Just go there, do your schoolwork, and get what you need to get done, basically. So yeah. Anyways, this is another episode of the university series. These are some things that you should know before going to live on campus. This is the end of today's video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and go ahead and check out some of the other episodes of the university series down below. Bye guys.